13th to order. May I have a roll call, please?
Let the record reflect that all commissioners are present.
Thank you. For the Pledge of Allegiance, Secretary Scully, would you like to lead us?
Sure. Right hand over the heart. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item is public comments that are invited on non-agenda items. Speakers must limit comments to 3 minutes before speaking. We invite, but do not require, that you state your name for the record. And the Harbor Commission has the discretion to extend or shorten the speaker's time limit on agenda or non-agenda items, provided the time limit adjustment is applied equally to all speakers. As a courtesy, we ask now that you please silence your cell phones. Do we have any public comments?
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Shaylee Hilkema. I'm a Newport Harbor mooring permit holder who would prefer that all of the dealings of our city policymakers be fair and transparent. The City of Newport Beach has threatened us with a 300% to 500% fee increase, and it wants to end our permit transferability so it can charge much higher fees for its city-owned mooring license product. This costly operating program will surely cut off harbor access to boaters of moderate means. Earlier today, past and current policymakers attended the Newport Harbor Foundation's State of the Bay Luncheon, where tickets start at $500 a plate. If all went as planned, several gave presentations on harbor-related matters, including past Harbor Commissioner Skip Kenny, who gave a mooring permit fees update, and Councilmember Joe Stapleton, who is also a past Harbor Commissioner, a past mayor, and a current member of the 2-person ad hoc committee that has been tasked to, in his words, do a complete review of everything regarding harbor management, was the MC. I don't know what's discussed at such events, but when you get rich people and policymakers who are rich people together, it's not a stretch to imagine that they're talking about how they can get whatever it is that they want. At the Foundation's website, Mr. Kenny writes, in the opinion of the Newport Harbor Foundation, the mooring permit fees proposed by the Harbor Commission were very reasonable. To clarify, he's talking about 300% to 500% increase for offshore mooring fees and 1,000% increase for onshore mooring fees. He declares that the Newport Mooring Association aggressively fought any increase in mooring permit fees, but he doesn't mention that we already pay much higher fees than like user groups, including those that are commercial and for profit. Mr. Kenny, who I've been told owns a harborfront home with a dock, also doesn't mention the facts that those with residential pier permits pay nothing to store their boats at their private docks. They pay a fraction of the fees we pay for much larger footprints. On the tidelands, they enjoy exclusive use rights. The city allows them to rent dock space, which can amount to many thousands of dollars of profit per year. And the city hasn't threatened to revoke their residential pier permits, which can add $1 million to the value of their harborfront homes. I don't know what was served up at that pricey luncheon, but I do know that the unfair facts I've been force-fed are hard to swallow. Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional public comments? Okay, seeing none. We'll move on to approval of the minutes from April 8th at the previous Harbor Commission regular meeting. I will open up to the Commission if there's any additional comments.
No comments.
Seeing none. Seeing none. I'll open it up for public comments with respect specifically to the approval of the minutes from April 8th.
Good evening, Adam Leverins. Looking at these minutes, I realized that I misspoke at that meeting. It's reflected in the minutes that I said that sacrificial anodes may not experience significant oxidation due to being embedded in the soil. I clearly meant helical anchors are embedded in the soil. I imagine you all were aware of that. And I had talked about scientific materials I had read that they don't experience a lot of oxidation. So I just wanted to clarify that I wasn't referring to sacrificial anodes, I was referring to helical anchors. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes?
My name is Sandy Manich, and I have a permit to liveaboard mooring A193 that I've had for 15 years. I'm a public school teacher, and I've been doing that for 8 years. So my concern with the helix anchors is
Ma'am,
this. Yes?
The current topic is the authorization is approving the minutes from the last meeting.
Right, that's what I'm addressing, the minutes from the helix anchor minutes, right? Nothing was mentioned in the minutes regarding mooring field A being devastated by a stolen boat from the condos because of lax code enforcement at the fishing dock that's shared with mooring holders. So I've got pictures that I sent to code enforcement of fishermen at the no fishing dock at 8 o'clock at night. A month later, $1 million, and then jumping the fence to the condos where the boat was stolen in September. I notified code enforcement.
Ma'am,
I appreciate this, but it's not related to the
It is
prior-
related, it is related.
It's not
because
related to the prior meeting minutes, so thank you.
I'm bringing it up.
You would need to address specifically the minutes
I
from
am
the last meeting. Nothing what you've mentioned is in the minutes.
about the
Or was
helix
that the meeting?
anchors.
Okay, well,
The
thank you, but please limit your discussion very specifically to the minutes.
Very specifically to the helix anchors, when mooring field A was devastated last September, which has never been in the press. 10 boats were hit. If we had been on helix anchors, 60 boats would have been hit, including mine.
Thank you. Any other comments related to the minutes? Seeing none, I'll bring it back, entertain a motion to approve the minutes with the changes that were input from Vice Chair Marston.
So moved. I'll second that.
Okay, let's go to vote.
Motion passes with Commissioner Williams abstaining.
Thank you. The next item is a public hearing, item number 6.1. It's a hearing on revocation of a mooring permit for mooring E1A, Clarely Family Trust. The permittee of mooring E-1A has repeatedly failed to timely pay its mooring fees, and has also been informed that if it does not timely pay its mooring fees, the city would commence a mooring permit revocation proceeding. So with that, I'll turn it over if staff has a report.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Jeff Goldfarb. I am a code enforcement officer for the city of Newport Beach, and I work in the harbor. It's nice to see you tonight. The permittee, as you mentioned, is the Clarely Family Trust. Their mooring is mooring E1A. They got their permit on April 25th, 2022. It's located, it's the closest mooring basically to Crabbing Point. I think if we can, there we go. I guess right. And you can see this is the location of approximate location of the mooring. The last date that we are aware of where the mooring permittee has paid was October of 2025. Since then, we have sent 2 letters requesting payment. As far as we are aware, and I just checked with finance as of 4:30 this afternoon, there is no record of any payment for this mooring since October of 2025. The permittee is required, switch this here real quick. Permittee is required to pay the mooring fees timely, both by the conditions of the permit that the permit has and by the municipal code itself. Since they have not paid since October 25, Revocation is an authorized, in fact, the authorized remedy for failure to pay the mooring fees under section 1770 020 of the city's municipal code. The first warning letter that we sent them on this group of this period of not payment was on February 28th, 2026. The second letter was March 14th, 2026, where we indicated that they were in danger of having their permit revoked should they not pay. They did not pay, and on April 9th, 2026, we provided them the notice of hearing on the revocation of the permit. I am unaware of whether the permittee is or is not here tonight. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Before I turn over to the commissioners for questions, I just have a couple of quick questions. Has there been any communication with the permittee, either through telephonic or face-to-face, other than just written notifications?
I was not working today, however, I was told by our dock master that the permittee did call today and ask about payment. And email, apparently.
Okay. That was the only question that I had. I'll turn it over to any commissioners. Yeah.
What are the, you mentioned what are the terms as part of the city code in terms of when you're billed, how much time do you have to pay the bill?
60 days. When it is in that period between 60 and 90 days of non-payment, we get a report, and then we send a letter out to the permittee requesting payment. We give them a 15-day period to pay. If they don't pay within that 15-day period, we send them a second letter, and that second letter includes a reference to the notice of intent to revoke the mooring permit if fees are not paid.
And to your knowledge, is there any dispute from their standpoint that the city hasn't performed what the terms and condition of the mooring permit?
No, none.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Commissioner Williams, anything?
I'd be curious as to what the nature of the phone call was and what was discussed. Was it, I'm not paying? Was it, here's my credit card, I'll pay it over the phone? How did that conversation go?
Good afternoon, Commissioners. This is Paul Blank, your Harbor Master, and I received a copy of the email from the permittee indicating that he had paid at City Hall earlier in the day. We have no record of that.
Okay, just for clarification, you have no record of it. Does that mean you've investigated and can confirm that a payment was not made, or you just have no record of the payment being made?
I investigated to the extent of I went to finance. I asked, gave them the account number, the mooring number, and the individual's name. I asked if they have any record of payment. They looked through the computer and said if he had paid today either by telephone or had paid on the online system, they would have a record of that as of now. They do not.
Thank you. Commissioner Sorchek, anything?
No questions.
Commissioner Miller? Commissioner Young?
I think my only question would be if, to your point, he said he paid and he didn't pay, is there a conditional day that we can put on, obviously, rather than just making a decision today, just throwing that out there from a standpoint of, to your point, I would think online it's there or it isn't. So it doesn't seem illogical to me, but just question if there's any a day delay or something like that.
Well, we're certainly able to
Since you spoke
entertain
to
anything up here as a commission, and that's open for discussion. It's been going on for 8 months.
Well, this round has been going on for 8 months. This is not the first time we've had to go through this process with this particular permittee. This is the third time he has been in arrears in excess of 6 months on his mooring fee payments.
I see, and we have verified that no payment's been received.
That changes the dynamics. Thank you very much for that update.
Sure.
Commissioner Young?
Yeah, so this has been going since October 2025. And I'm just curious with your 30, 60, 90-day policy, how this has gone for so long, beyond even the 90-day period. Is that just something that, I mean, has this guy sort of done something with the system as far as continuing to get delays without any ramifications, and now we're having this discussion 8, 9 months after the fact? Just curious how it slipped through the cracks so long.
Good afternoon, Commissioner. Commissioners, this is, once again, Paul Blank, your harbor master, and I would just say that the resources available for follow-up on this type of item are not available on a consistent basis. So we have done the best we can with the resources we have to follow up as quickly as possible, but we do not, on the 91st day, immediately follow up on this particular matter because it is not the highest priority being addressed by the harbor department on that 91st day. It can take us several months.
Okay, understand, and not based on judgment against what you guys have to work with. I just want to know how long this has been kind of marinating, as it seems to have been doing for some amount of time. So it's not a very quick action. It sounds like it's been going for some period of time. That's all I needed to hear.
Vice Chair Martin, and Commissioner Williams?
Out of curiosity, so if we were to assume that this gentleman paid today, in this scenario, are there fines, fees imposed, interest, something that's compounding that would correct this, or can they simply walk across the counter and pay what they previously owed the city?
The code provides for a late fee. I'm not sure what that actual late fee is, but it does provide for one.
So late fees have been assessed on this particular open account. The fees have accrued, and the total amount owed includes all of the mooring fees for all of the months, plus late fees, which I believe are 10% for all those months that are more than 90 days in arrears. I might suggest that the commissioners invite the permittee forward if he is in the room and to provide proof of payment if he happens to have it. Certainly, if he had made payment earlier today, he would have a receipt.
Thank you. Just one other question. Is there a vessel on this mooring?
There is not. There used to be a float with 2 jet skis. That was removed, I gotta think, between a year and 6 months ago.
Okay. Thank you. I'll open it up, well, at the advice of our harbor master. If the permittee is out in the audience and would like to address this commission, I very much welcome you to do so at this time. Not seeing any response, I'll open it up to the public.
My name is Sandy Manich, mooring permit A193, Little Board. I request that this be postponed because the city has been given notice by the state that the fees that you're charging are discriminatory, and the fees are going to be looked at and addressed within 6 weeks. So I'm asking for that to be kept in consideration, and perhaps that's why this mooring person is not paying, because of the discriminatory nature of the fee process, in that there have been no increases for residential pier permits over how many years, when the moorings have been getting regular fee increases. So I ask that you put it off until the state has a chance to see what your plan is to rectify the discrimination in rates. Thank you.
Thank you. Additional comments?
Adam Leverance. I advocate for people paying their bills on time. Having read through the staff materials, though, I see this mooring is in a family trust. It's also been brought to my attention that perhaps the materials being sent them, that they're in violation, have gone to a couple different addresses. Mr. Blank said they clearly have a receipt if they paid today. That's not necessarily true. If you pay online, you can either print a receipt or not print a receipt. And if the individual or trust has paid, I suggest doing this next month, because if they have paid and you pull this permit, that to me seems to open the possibility of litigation, where if you do it next month, and according to Mr. Goldfarb, you know, this has been kind of an ongoing issue. If I'd make it clear that if they've paid, they're up to date. If this happens again, the timelines, and your permit requires that you provide your current address, so you've got them on that. Part of the problem I have with services, it's been explained to me that the city considers something served when they drop it in the mailbox. You know how mail works. I mean, that's problematic as far as timelines. And then when they're 60 days behind, the finance department is tracking it. So by the time the harbor department learns about it, there's only a short window of time left for someone to pay, which that's a problem for me. I think they should be notified right away that they're in arrears, and maybe the finance department does that, but it's kind of a crescendo of events. And again, I advocate people paying on time, but in this particular instance with the trust, and I imagine some of you have trust, that if you change the head of the trust, I don't know the terminology, but there can just be complications. And what would it harm to wait a month to see if this trust actually paid the fees and then pull the trigger next month? Thank you.
Any additional public comments? Seeing none, I'll bring it back up here. Do any commissioners want to provide any comments on this at this time?
I think maybe a re-clarification of my question. Can you put a conditional revocation of it? And say if it, hey, we'll vote on it tonight, conditional, and if indeed the permittee demonstrates payment that he said he made today, then we'll rescind the revocation. Otherwise, I mean, can it be conditional? I guess that's a question for your commissioner, one of the commissioners, or Harbor Master Blind.
I don't know that it can be rescinded, but I believe that there's a process to appeal a decision. So,
If I might, one of the options available to you is a motion that says the revocation will be effective tomorrow, Friday, next Tuesday, any date you choose. The revocation would be effective pending the proof of payment. My suggestion is that you make the motion to make the revocation effective Friday morning at 8 o'clock, pending confirmation of non-payment.
any additional comments? Any comments? Okay, well, at this point, the recommendation from city staff is to revoke mooring permit for mooring E-1A. Based upon the conversations and information we have, does anybody want to make a motion along those lines or amend it?
If I might, Mr. Chair, please consider carefully when making your motion what reasonable time frame you would give the Harbor Department to confirm payment or non-payment. There would be an opportunity, if you so chose, to offer, if you phrased your motion carefully, it could offer the permittee the opportunity to make payment tomorrow and still meet the deadline.
Understood, understood. Would anyone like to make a motion with respect to this?
I would like to make a motion that, at the suggestion of Harbor Master Blank, that we revoke conditionally and make it effective Friday. And if indeed he, like he said on the phone, I paid, he has 2 or 3 days to produce that, and then it's either rescinded or it will continue to move forward in the revocation process. So I would make that motion.
So if I understand your motion correctly, first of all, the action is exempt from CEQA, and secondly, to issue a revocation effective Friday, this Friday, which is what, the 15th, at 8 a.m., conditioned on not receiving payment, proof of payment for all the amounts that are outstanding.
Perfectly stated, thank you. That is my motion.
Do we have a second?
Proof of payment as of today.
Yes.
Right, sure we're all on the same page, yeah.
Correct. Yeah, that's a very good point.
I'll second that
A
motion.
proof of payment received sometime through May 13th, and he has till 8 a.m. on the 15th to demonstrate that. Otherwise, the permit is revoked. So we're clear.
Okay.
Motion
I'll
is
second
made,
that motion.
and the motion is seconded by, was it Gary? Or was it Don? Don? Okay, very good. We have a motion and a second.
Motion passes.
Okay, moving on to item 6.3 is a residential dock reconfiguration at 2227 Bayside Drive. And we have Pete, Swift Slip Dock and Pier Builders as the applicant. I know we have a staff report, so Chris Miller will take the lead on that.
Chair. My name is Chris Miller, Public Works Manager for the city. And we're here this evening for a residential dock reconfiguration project. This project is at 2227 Bayside Drive within Carnation Cove. The Newport Beach Municipal Code states that piers and floats located in this particular area of Newport Harbor requires Harbor Commission approval if certain conditions exist, or if it goes beyond its existing permitted length. And I'll demonstrate what the permitted length is later on in the presentation. A public hearing shall be heard for docks in this section if they would like to go beyond that length, and the Harbor Commission needs to make general findings that support their decision this evening. But it's important also to note that decisions of the Harbor Commission are made on a case-by-case basis, and it certainly doesn't provide precedent for other docks in the surrounding area, which is true for all docks in the harbor when they come before the Harbor Commission. So as usual, I'll go through the aerials. This is the Carnation Cove area, which is in the entrance channel on the right side of the screen. You can see the blue dashed lines showing the property. I'll zoom in. Zooming in a little closer. Actually, this is a good perspective here because you can see that the dock, the side property lines run parallel to one another. But interestingly, and I'll go into a little bit more detail, the property lines of neighboring properties, you can tell just by the orange property lines as you look, I'll say east from the blue property lines. Notice how they're not parallel to one another. The property gets narrower as it extends further out into the water. So that does cause a problem for many docks in Carnation Cove. However, for this particular dock, fortunately for them, the property lines extend parallel to one another, so they do not converge or interfere with others. Zooming in a bit more, you can see this; it's a bit more prominent that way. And then one more closer shot. Carnation Cove is an unusual part of the harbor for three reasons. One is, and I'll back up just because it's a bit easier to see. One is the depth is relatively shallow in Carnation Cove. There's also bedrock down there, so they're limited on going dredging very deep. But which the shallow water does provide the reason for the very long piers that are in this part of the harbor. They're extremely long. In this case, this particular pier is 260 feet long, and that's the permitted length, and it's because of the depth issues. Second, the federal harbor lines, which are the orange, it doesn't look orange on the screen, but it's orange, yellow, and red. That's the bulkhead, pierhead, and project lines. Those lines are out in the water. Normally, the bulkhead line would generally follow the physical bulkhead around the harbor, and it does so in 93% of the harbor. But in this particular case, all those lines are much more channelward than the piers and floats themselves. So it's definitely unusual. And the last reason why Carnation Cove is unusual, I touched upon it before, is because it is concave. It's on a concave curve. The curve bends inward instead of outward. And so that's what could and does sometimes cause conflict with the extension of the property lines, and it really narrows down the usable water space for some of the pier permittees in this area. This is a shared pier, and it consists of 3 finger floats, which create a double U-shaped float configuration. And we'll go into what the proponent is proposing in a bit. The Harbor Commission has some choices this evening. They may approve or conditionally approve the extensions of the docks only after conducting a public hearing and making general findings. General findings are listed in the staff report, and they're reflected in the proposed resolution, which is an attachment to the staff report. The existing dock configuration. This is the existing dock configuration, which shows the, particularly the width. You'll notice that, first of all, sorry, the reconstruction in question tonight is the, I'll call it the right side on the screen, or the west side, the right slip. So there's the proposal is to lengthen the middle finger and the west finger. So we're just focusing on the right slip on the screen. The left slip, particularly the left finger, is remaining untouched, as is the gangway and the pier. I won't go into these in detail, but this is the evidence in the file that shows that that helps demonstrate that the pier was permitted to its length. And as you can see, these drawings are not super precise, but they do provide a comparison, particularly to the dock on the right, or that would be rather the east of it. And in relation to that single finger float, it does match up if you were to compare it to the aerials a few slides back. But this just shows that in 1997, this is what was approved when there was some minor work done on that float, and this is the back side of that approval from 1997. Here's another approval from 2000 that shows the similar configuration as it is now, the double U-shaped